Hey y'all, I'm Lucy, 26. I work in insurance. Um, I'm the best there is, and that's all I got to say.
Heard that.
You're the best there is. That's all. That's all you got to say. Well, thank you, beautiful ladies, for such wonderful introductions. So we're just gonna jump right in, and just start with the list of questions that we were all sent earlier in the week. And we're just gonna start with the first question. Okay, so ladies, what are your biggest issues with our generation? Like, moms and, us, what are your biggest issues with our generation? And of course, there are no right or wrong answers. Just be honest, be candid. There's, I won't say anything. I'll probably be laughing. So let's start with
With us?
Lucy.
Oh, me?
Lucy. Uh-huh.
Oh, what's the problem? What I think the problem is with like our parent generation.
Yeah, like your biggest issue that you think, the biggest issue with our generation.
I feel like sometimes y'all don't cut us no slack. Like I feel like y'all think that our generation are some quitters because we don't really we don't stand for anything, but we ain't gonna fall for everything. And I feel like if we decide to do something that y'all don't think is smart or whatever, y'all got a problem with that. Oh, you gotta give us a life lesson. Like y'all don't really have a lot of faith in us or something. Um,
Okay.
I know what I'm trying to say. I just can't really get it out right now. But
I
yeah,
mean, just, like I told you before, this is just candid conversation. We're all just, like how we would all just sit around in the living room and just chop it up. So, if you want to say something, that's fine. It's just us. It's just you just hanging with the girls.
yeah,
No?
that's like the big yeah. I mean, but that's like my biggest thing. Like, cause like I'm gonna speak on like our experiences. Cause you know me, if it come when it comes to a job, if I don't like it, I'm gonna leave. And I know you don't like that. Like you be like, now Lucy, you're supposed to, put in a 2 weeks notice and plan ahead. But no, if I don't like something, I'm gonna move around. And even like with my daddy, like he be saying the same thing, like, "Oh, that ain't the right thing to do. You should have did this and did that." I'm like, "Dog, have a little more faith in me." You know what I'm saying? Because I know back then y'all probably didn't have the blueprint for life. Y'all probably did the same thing, if not worse. So I just feel
Mm-hmm.
like y'all be hard on us when it comes. I get y'all. I get that y'all are parents, so y'all want the best for us. But I just feel like y'all be hard. Like y'all didn't make decisions too that probably wasn't the right thing to do when y'all did it, but y'all learned from it.
Okay. Okay. Would you like to add anything to that, Nurse?
Sure. I'm not a big fan of parenting back in the day. I don't know. Or like, I guess for our generation, like Dee said, y'all don't cut us a lot of slack. And like, I don't think that it's registered in a lot of parents' brains that things aren't the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all are still trying to parent us as if it is. And it's not like that anymore. Like, that's what my parents do. They're
Mm-hmm.
older, and I understand that. But at the same time, like, letting us fall on our face a couple times helps us know what not to do again and again and again. But I feel like instead of that happening, it's like, you're going to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, and not recognizing, like, okay, we've been through that ourselves, let them handle it. So, yeah, that's
That
my.
was well stated. Okay. That was very well stated. Kasha,
Mm-hmm.
anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, as far just to piggyback off what they kind of said, as far as not understanding some of the things that I guess like the parents of
before us, they don't get why we do some of the things that we do as if they didn't go through some of the same things. You know, I guess they don't put themselves in their shoes back when they were our age trying to give us advice, because I'm pretty sure they went through the same thing with their parents as well. So, yeah. And then, too, I also think just to kind of steer left, I feel like some of our parents don't hold us accountable for, not me personally, but I guess parenting isn't as strict as it was the generation before theirs when it comes to like morals. That I don't feel like a lot of parents of our parents instill morals into their kids. If that makes sense.
Okay. Jordan.
I think it's speaking in general. I think it's a very judgmental um generation, especially when it comes to kids. Just like everyone else has said, it's very like either you do it this way or you're doing it wrong. It's not you figure it out and then you do it your way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sorry. Um, I have a huge distraction over here, but
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
and then like Kasha said, when it comes to instilling values and everything, like every now I think like our generation, like as parents, like my age and stuff, they're very want to be best friends instead of like actually parenting the kids and instilling like the good things and that they need to grow in life and that they need to succeed. It's not happening, or at least not as much as it used to. But at the same time, like everyone else has said, things are different, so things have to go in a different way. But it just doesn't seem to be working.
Okay, so okay, and and I've heard everything that you all said, and it all makes a lot of sense. No, you can go ahead and see to the baby. I understand that. But do you, like I believe Nis said that we should allow y'all to fall on your faces and figure out or see where things are going. As far figure out things on your own. So is that something that you all would just prefer instead of saying, "Hey, don't don't put your hand on that hot stove. You're gonna get burned, but you go and do it anyway." So you would prefer to just find out on your own. Basically, is what you're saying.
I mean, like telling us once, is cool, but like if we continue to do it, obviously, like I don't know if we're trying to figure out something or if we're trying to see if our way works. Like maybe if we touch the stove with the back of our hand, will it still burn?
Mhm.
And I think at
I
that
think
point,
we
you just
already
got to let
touched
them
the
figure it
stove.
out.
Yeah, and also
Yeah,
with that, too,
y'all
I
can just
think
talk.
that
Everybody just jump in.
I think that
Okay.
instead of demanding your kid to do something, you should set your kid up for what you want them to be. Like, don't wait until the last minute to try to parent them or tell them to do this a certain type of way if you haven't raised them to be that. Like, don't wait till the last minute. I think a lot of parents do that. They expect their kid to do something without even like training them on their way growing into being an adult.
Or it's like hypocritical, like they see you doing something, not knowing that they them themselves has probably already done it, and instead of like teaching them the right way, like don't do that because I went through this, it's just like don't do that, you look bad, or don't do that, you need to do this and that. You know what I mean? Like it's like very judgmental. So
And you
Yes,
know,
and also
yeah,
just showing your kid what you want them to be. A lot of parents expect their kid to be something when they acted like a certain type of way in the household. So they're only going to be a product of what they saw. So I think a lot of parents try to live through their kids too, as well,
yeah,
that's
versus
I agree.
I mean,
mhm.
just basically versus raising them the right way. And I know, like, you learn as you raising them, you learn as you go. But I don't feel like you should come down so hard on your kid if you can look back and see that you never trained them or set them up to be what you're asking them to be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I hear what you're saying, but it was just funny what Dee Dee just put on there. Correct. Let me fly. But but real quick, I do want to thank the viewers. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Miss Sonia, and thank you, Theodora, for tuning in. We appreciate you guys for tuning in and your comments as well. Um, before we move on to the next question, Dee Dee, is there something you wanted to add, sweetheart?
Me?
Lucy.
All right, Lucy.
Oh, look.
Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. This is my daughter, so I'm not used to calling Lucy. So, Lucy, is there something else you want to add, baby?
Nah, I mean, like everybody was saying, like I agree with what everybody was saying. Like y'all don't be acting like y'all wasn't out there, goosing at the Freaknik. When we try to be out here goosing at the Freaknik too. Like don't act like it's such a bad thing when we try to do it. Don't stop me from turning up because I was turning up too.
Yeah. But you know what? And I think honestly, as a mom and just being straight up growing up basically and being a young mother, I'm glad that I've afforded my girls an opportunity to always speak their mind, just be straight up with me. I may not like it, but I do learn things, y'all, each one of y'all, whenever you do say something. So I believe Dee Dee and Hannah told me previously, about letting them just, I'm not going to say goosing at the Freaknik, but, because I didn't do the Freaknik, but just letting them live. And, and Keysha, I do believe you're right. Some parents do try to live through their children. So you guys made some beautiful, beautiful points. And if you're viewing, please hit the like and share button. We would we welcome all comments. If I don't get to read them, I'm sorry, but let me say Miss Sonia has on here, I work with younger people and I have young people in my house, and don't try to be their friend, but I do try to keep things light enough to let them know that I am approachable. And for me, that was something that I had to learn, because like with my mom, a lot of things they didn't teach her. My grandmother didn't teach her and didn't show her. So I had to learn how to not try to be my daughter's friends, but to also try to steer them in the right direction. So thank you, babies. That was wonderful. Okay,
I just like to
question.
add. Can I just add one thing on there?
Absolutely.
So like what she said, I'm
Absolutely.
sorry, but like what she said, like you can, I'm not saying like don't be, nice to them or don't be approachable. But you can be stern and raise your children.
Jordan went away.
Sorry. Am I back now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, you can still, be stern with your kids and like lead them in the right direction and still have that trust or build that trust to where they can come and talk to you. I mean, that's how my mom was. Stern, but fair. And then like I talk to her about any and everything. But that just comes with like the type of relationship that you decide to build with your kids though.
Yep. I agree. My mom was saying, we can be open, but you can't be too open. You can't talk to her crazy. You gotta show a certain type of way. To this day, I don't cuss around my mama. I don't like it's a lot of things that I don't do, but of course I'm still open. So we're friends. I can say that we have more of a friendship now, but because I'm more of an adult and I can understand. But growing up, like we express ourselves, we have open discussion, but when she say shut up, basically. Like
thank you, Mr. Sugar Daddy Williams. He wrote
Sugar Daddy.
That's his name, baby. And he said I can never learn too much from the ladies.
Agree.
And if all men were just that open, and willing to learn stuff, I promise we know what we talk about sometimes. Ain't that right, y'all?
All the time.
You can learn a lot.
I was just waiting. I'm like, y'all scared me. All right, so we're gonna move on to I thought somebody said something. I'm sorry. So we're gonna move on to question number 2. And it is, if you had our ear, what would you say to us? And I'm not going to start with anyone in particular. Whoever wants to jump in.
To who? Your generation?
If you had our ear, what would you say to us? Like,
let go and let God. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious. Like, put your faith in him. Like, if you know that you did a good job bringing us up, and like you put your all into raising us, then just let go and just let him have his way. Like, you gotta know that he gonna do what he said he was gonna do, and when it comes to us being safe and being like, good people out here, then you gotta know that that's gonna automatically happen. Like, you gotta know that we got it when we walk out the door, when we go do this and do that. Like, just let go and let God.
Very well stated. Okay.
I would say
Anybody else?
be patient, more understanding, because the generation we grew up in, we grew up more exposed than what y'all grew up in as far as like social media. We were exposed to a lot, and just the internet in general, a lot more things than probably, I'm not saying y'all wasn't exposed to things, but only within your area. We can be exposed to things that's going on across the country, you know what I'm saying? So just being understanding as far as our way of thinking, being patient, still instilling things and giving us free game and knowledge, but just be patient, I guess.
Being more open-minded.
Free game.
Oh.
Like,
okay, what were you saying? I like that. Okay. And Jordan, I'm sorry, you said being more open-minded.
Yes. Just like Keysha said, we're exposed to a lot of things, and typically it starts at a younger age now. Like 15-year-olds don't even look like we did back in the day. They look like freaking 25, 30. But I mean, like, where do they get it from? Their surroundings, what they see on the internet and stuff. So you got to be mindful of that. So I just say be open-minded.
Okay.
And then be open-minded that there are different ways to raise your child. That's speaking from a mother's standpoint, though.
Okay. Nis?
I would just say don't be so hard on us just because you were once our age before as well. So some of the things that or how you were raised back then is not going to be the same as our generation, because it's two different generations for one. And like they said, it's a lot more things going on in our generation than it is back then. And if you yourself wasn't raised like how you thought that would have been better for you to be raised, like, then that is like a learning point for you to raise your children different and not just piggyback off of how your parents did, so that's kind of what I have to say.
Breaking generational curses.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's what we're striving for over
sometimes being stern or being, hold on, I'm sorry. That comment that Miss Sonia to you had just a moment ago. Yeah, I try to combine our old way and still be open enough to learn something new. Yeah, that's something that I like to do. I'm not gonna say I was always like that, because when my babies were younger, I was just very firm on school. Go to school, do what you got to do, pass your classes. When you get to be 18, 19 or whatever, okay, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But, oftentimes I did find myself, kind of still being in the old way. So I do understand what everybody is saying. And I appreciate it. Anybody else have anything to add? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Now, you know what? I read question number 3. But this is question number 2. Give me just a second. I'm currently learning how to navigate parenting for this generation because I definitely cannot raise them like my grown children. Okay, so you did say, Miss Sonia, that you're raising boys. Hey, Pastor Dodd, you're raising boys now, or you raise older kids? I believe you made that post earlier. But while we're waiting on that response, let's move on to the next question. What's the biggest misconception about your generation?
That we lazy.
That we're hard-headed.
Heavy on the lazy.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people think that we lazy.
That we expect handouts.
Yeah. Like, we don't want to work.
Don't want to work.
We don't want to do nothing.
Not it at all. like because things are so different now, there's times where we need help. And like if we ask, we don't want y'all to pull that card. Oh no, you didn't need me back then. So what you asking me for now? Like, and I hear that so many times, not from my own parents, but I hear that so many times from parents around me. I don't think it should be that way.
That's just low down, person, in my opinion, because I feel like I still kind of, I still kind of spoil my babies a little bit, and sometimes I get frowned on for doing that, because I always ask y'all all the time, do you need anything? If you need something, let me know. If you don't need something, let me know. But that's pretty sad that you've heard that, Jordan. That kind of break my heart a little bit.
I mean, that could be like, military lifestyle, because, everybody joined the military to try and get away from something or to try and better themselves somehow. So that just could be, what I'm surrounded by on the daily as to why I hear that so much or stuff like that.
And y'all hear this sweet little voice. Oh, my baby girl right here, my Jordan. And she's gonna be a drill instructor at some point. Can you imagine her yelling at somebody?
I do it all day.
Oh, now see how sweet she said.
Unfortunately.
Oh, okay. All right. Anybody else have anything to add?
Hey, niece. Look at her being nosy. I'm sorry.
Hey. Yeah. And yes, ma'am, Miss Sonia, my children learn from me and I definitely learn from them. That's true. A lot of times, it's things now I look at when I ask, y'all like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And I remember back, like my mama used to ask me those questions. And like sometimes I'd be like, man, mama, but so then I was starting to see that, maybe I'm, man, mama, doing those things. So I do appreciate all your answers, guys. I mean, like, anybody else have just anything to add? I mean, you can say whatever, you can talk about whatever. This is an open forum.
Can you repeat the question again?
What's the biggest misconception about our generation?
I had one.
Are you just repeating the question, or are you telling somebody?
Yeah, Jordan asked.
Yeah, Jordan asked the question.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's the biggest one.
Me too.
I feel like y'all don't think that we know as much as we, or
yes.
how do I put it? Y'all don't think that we're dumb, but y'all don't think that we know.
They don't give us enough credit.
Yes.
Like, not so much is ignorant, but like, it's a lot of things that we know that y'all think that we either should know or that we don't know nothing about, and so we get looked upon like, you don't know that.
And then we tell y'all be like,
how you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we do
you know what?
Then we just go
and
back.
like I mentioned, everybody's ignorant to something. So, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Ignorant means you just don't know. Now, I would certainly hate if we made you feel like you stupid. That means you was born a fool, which none of you are stupid. I don't believe anybody's stupid. So, now I think I heard Keysha. I think you were saying something. Y'all so distracted. Look at somebody.
I think I was just agreeing, like, I was agreeing to this. Basically, we don't get enough credit. I think our end goal is the same as far as being successful. We just go about it a different way. Like, as far as like becoming successful, I feel like y'all generation feel like the only way to become successful is to go to school, get a degree, and that's the only way. It's so many ways that you can become successful without even having a high school diploma. And you can be richer than some of these CEOs and some of these businesses. So I just feel like we're not giving enough credit. Or if someone young becomes successful off of social media, or it's like you get hated on for that, but money is money. I'm not saying money is money because our money isn't good money, but I'm just saying that those are people's sources of income. Social media, podcasts, like, it's just so many other streams and ways that you can become successful. So just, I guess, understanding that, no, we're not lazy, but we just want the quickest way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I mean, I myself was grown up, like, I mean, I was raised that way, like, you got to go to school, you got to do this and that. And that's what I did my entire, I feel like that's what my main focus is, that I had to go to school. I had to get good grades. And so that was like the whole majority of my younger, I mean, I'm still young, but like when I was younger, but like, and now, I mean, I have a degree and I'm not even going in, like doing anything with that degree, and I'm still making good money. So it's like, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it. So like, a degree is useful, but it's not always like, I guess, like what they think is like, oh, you need a degree to be successful. Like, you really don't.
Yeah.
Hey,
you could join the military. You know, don't do it.
Not you recruiting. We got enough of that in high school.
Y'all are undervalued. Thank you, Sugar Daddy.
Yes,
you mean
we
me
are.
too, or you talking about just the 20-year-old ladies on here?
He's talking about us.
I appreciate the comment. I
He's
appreciate
talking
the
about us.
comment, but I just can't take him serious with his name.
Sugar Daddy. Let me see if I can fill up his picture.
I know that's right. See what he really talking
No.
about there.
We just playing. We just playing. We don't want to run you out from the chat. But
Nah, you won't run him off. He's a sweetheart.
oh, it looks like he a Cowboys fan. Okay, we gonna let him. Yeah, okay.
We're gonna let him make good.
Like a Cowboys fan.
You guys are. Miss Sonia says you guys are innovative, income earners. It took me a minute to understand that, and that is very true because it was instilled in us. You know, go to college, get a degree. I have two sisters that went to college, got degrees. One isn't doing anything in her field. And I think, well, you know what? I think they both are now. They just both started doing things in their field. And I have one sister that went to the military. She was in the Marine Corps, but you know, oh girl, I thought that was a sonogram picture. I'm like, oh Lord, are you making an announcement?
Oh, absolutely.
That's her Dallas.
No, that's
picture.
Dallas.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, I believe we're gonna spend quite a few minutes on this next question. So just be as open as you want to be. Okay. What are your thoughts on young men today?
They ain't worth
trash.
I feel like the men before
garbage.
them
like to roll the whole generation away.
The men before them feel
they mama's back. You look like they I feel like it's not given.
They have no morals. They
have no morals. They don't even know how to speak. Like a dude will sit here and look at you instead of just walking up and speaking, but let me walk up and speak. You think I'm me or not? No, I feel like women are way more player than the men these days. Like the dudes just don't have it.
But I think that, and then I agree with everything Lucy said. And I think that's because a lot of the women, well, of course, like the men before them failed them. Yes, I do agree. But a lot of women don't hold them accountable because they are okay with accepting like small things, and down the line it messes them up because they're not understanding like what's needed to be a good man, what they should bring to the household, what they should bring into a relationship, because a lot of women don't hold them accountable before things that they should be doing.
I feel like another thing with go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby.
I feel like another thing with like today's men is just like that. I feel like the main thing that's wrong with our generation of men is that they intimidated by us as women, because we not gonna sit here and stay at home with the children. We gonna get a job. We gonna work. We gonna have our own everything, and they just want us to be. Some of them want them to be dependent on us, or they want to be fully dependent on us. Like if we're not dependent on them, they want to be dependent on us. But don't nobody really want to meet like in the middle no more. Like you either got it or you don't. And I feel like a lot of men are just intimidated by women these days because we know how to get out there and get it, and we're not gonna settle for nothing. Right.
Yep. It's a lot of alpha females now.
And that's the problem.
They're way more outspoken than what we used to be.
I was raised to not depend on a man for shit. Like, and I will that is what I live by, and that is what I'm going to live by for the rest of my life. Like, I will never. So,
I wouldn't depend on a man for a packet of jelly. If I had a biscuit, I'd go to
nope.
Quick Trip and get it myself. I wouldn't do it. I got better luck doing it myself. Like, I mean, it's like not even. I don't know. I just feel like it's really just like the whole intimidation thing of it all, and being with my mom most of the time, like I just learned to get it on my own. Like both my parents are hustlers, but like she did it, I can do it. I don't need no do nothing. Like my daddy wasn't around. Like he was around, but y'all know like he wasn't around. Like he was in Longview, we was in Dallas type stuff. Like even when he was in Fort Worth, I really didn't see him like I could have. I was always around my mom. So I mean she did it, I can do it, and I'm still doing it. Like I just don't ever see myself dependent on a man. Even if he was my doctor, he had to come give me a sponge bath, I would probably get up and do it myself. I just
And I don't mind, like, I don't mind a man leading in a relationship or in a household within marriage. I don't mind a man leading, but at the same time, they're not just gonna lead without bringing stuff to the table. Because I'm okay with the man leading the household, but at the same time, they just can't come with nothing brought to the table. You have to meet certain qualities and to be able to lead. So don't get me wrong, like a man can still lead, but at the end of the day, I'm only gonna be so dependent on a man. I would rather be independent, but not too independent of a mindset where I feel like a man can't, because you know when you attack a man's pride, it's done for. So I don't want to be with a man and I'm attacking their pride, throwing in their face that I can be independent. That's going to be already known just by getting to know me. But at the same, you know what I'm saying? So I don't mind a man leading, but they just don't bring nothing to the table these days. So I mean,
I feel like men have like in their heads like that we automatically are gonna need them, and it's hard for them to like accept in their head like maybe she don't need me, because it like this generation, I hate to say it, our generation, like men these days think that we are totally dependent on them and that is the only way. Like I can tell you from experience, not with my man right now because I like him, but like from like back in the day, like I've had people like tell me what bill do I need to pay in order, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like they already have it in mind, like that we like in order to even get our attention, they need to have money, or like they or that we depend on them. Like I just feel like that's how it is, and yeah.
So I agree with what everybody else said, because all of that is true. Along with like it seems like they like to turn women against women. Like everything is a competition, and somehow it all starts with a man. Like when they start talking about, brown skin females against light skin females, white skin females against dark skin. Like it's just always a competition. And then it's like they can't accept a woman for a woman. Like they wanna do all of this, downgrading a woman after she had a baby, or downgrading a woman because of the way that she looks for whatever reason. And it's a very childish mindset, I think, with this generation. Completely childish. Like there's no maturity in their brain housing group whatsoever. I don't know where it went. I don't know when they lost it or when it just never left the childish mindset, but I feel like I'm talking to a 12-year-old every single time. And in the moment you try and have like a deep conversation, that's when they run. Like they don't like the intimate or the deep conversations, like not just a hey, what you doing? Nobody want to sit here and you ask me what I'm doing 12 times a day. I'm not gonna keep telling you that I'm sitting here watching TV.
Right.
Like I need a deep conversation, because how are you gonna get to know me and get to know the way that I think, and then but you want to be with me, but then the moment that I show you, my other side, because you never let me express that, then you want to run, or then you want to, you want to get mad.
Crazy.
Oh, she crazy. Oh, she do too much. Oh, she.
That's like that label is crazy. That is true.
It makes no sense. Oh, and then don't get me started on when children come into play.
Get started.
When children come into play, that's a whole nother responsibility for 18 years. Oh, I ain't ready for all of that. I ain't ready for all of that. But you laid down. You laid down. You
Point
knew what
blank
you was
period.
doing. You knew your cues of your body, and you still did it.
The
You knew
cute.
before I knew that
So
I was probably pregnant.
exactly.
Hey, First Lady Di. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to make sure I speak to the First Lady. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jordan. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
So I'm just like the moment that like real responsibility comes into play, they run. Every single time I have not met one that will stick around, like either when times get tough, when after one argument, um, like everything, like they, I don't even know how to put it. I don't
Now
know if
you
y'all get
putting
what
it
I'm saying,
right,
but like they
cause
just
You put
there's no maturity. Like we can't be adults and have an adult conversation and figure out a solution to one problem that we have ran into simply because we're getting to know each other before they run. Like it's
mm-hmm.
crazy to me. But like everybody else said, you don't need no doggone men. You don't need no men because
I
we got
just feel
this
like
Don't
24/7.
the
don't
dudes
need a man.
the dudes all they really want to do is just
Lay
is
up.
I was trying to find a good way to say that, but that's really
Yeah,
all they want to do. Like that's really all
it
they
is
want to do.
that.
Like let me come out my cover because what really get me about dudes like you want to take me to Applebee's? Do I mean I know I look like an Applebee's type of person, but do I look like I want to go to Applebee's? Like you don't want to take me to Ocean Air, you don't want to take me nowhere else. Like would you like you may take your mama to Applebee's, but I'm not your mama. You know what I'm saying? Like dudes don't want to break bread, and then when you willing to like spend money like that on yourself, that's a problem. Or when a dude say that you hold yourself to a higher level than what they see you, that's a problem. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you walk around knowing who you are, when a woman knows who they are, that's a problem for a man. That makes a man mad when a woman knows who they are because that means that man can't come into their life and try to conform their mind to be who they want them to be. And I
I
don't
will
know.
got
I can
up and raise an
attest.
offering.
To Miss
I can
Sonya,
attest to
yes,
that.
I know it goes past 18 years. I
Jordan,
was
pull your
just
camera
saying
down just
18
a little bit.
years. Oh, I was
Pull
trying
your
to get
camera.
in the camera. I was trying to get in the speaker. Sorry. To Miss
Okay.
Sonia's comment, I know it goes past 18 years. I was just saying that's like the baseline
The
before
minimum.
your child becomes an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So
And everything that you guys are saying is definitely true. I mean, it's so true because even some of the men and in our age group are still like that. They don't have nothing to bring. You know, they're trying to find somebody to stay with, not live,
Mm-hmm.
but stay with. Or they want to lay up with you, but they don't want to take you nowhere. They don't want to put you on display because they don't tell you
Yeah.
who they dealing with. So, I'm not mad, but y'all bring up some very valid points, and it's very, very true. Do y'all know any good men? If so, what makes him that?
A good man is
Well,
somebody who going
Hmm.
well,
I'm gonna say this while y'all think about that. So,
I don't even have to think about it.
I've okay,
I'm
I've
just
met a few people, and that's fine. But give me just 1 second because I do want to answer her question. I do want to answer Deshaun's question. I've dated a few people, and some people would get upset if I'm like, nah, I'm not feeling you like that, or I'm not trying to lay down with you, or I just let them know from the jump, this ain't gonna work. I mean, because I could probably really just break your heart. You know what I'm saying? And you're not ready for somebody like me because I am pretty outspoken, and I do teach my daughters that if, all my girls, say what's on your mind, because if you don't say it, how they supposed to know? And a lot of
mm-hmm.
women make the mistake of thinking that men can read our minds. No, 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 no. You got to say what
they
you
can't
want,
read a
how
doggone
you
book.
want.
you gotta let them know exactly, like step by step, what it
Yeah,
is.
you do.
Don't beat around
Yes.
the bush
You
with it.
do.
You do.
And so, and to answer Deshaun's question, what makes a good man is when you can convey your feeling and they don't run. Like
Yup.
Jordan said, if they want to talk to you, they want to get to the bottom of what they need to do, so everybody's happy. If you say, okay, you left those socks over there, you didn't start the washing machine. Okay, well, I'm sorry. They don't mind apologizing, and they exhibit changed behavior. That's what makes a good man in my eyes. And I must say, I can't, I'm 46 years old, and I thank God that I finally seemingly have met a good man. That wants to listen to me. But sometimes we get so used to the, the sorry sacks of shit that we can turn away a good man because we always our mental, we always think that that's all they're gonna do. They gonna all do the same thing. They gonna try to hit, and then they ain't gonna call you, or if you tell them no, they're not gonna call you. But a good man will understand, and he will be, he's not gonna put the pressure on you. If he laying in the bed next to you, you want to keep your drawers on. He ain't gonna be trying to take them down, rubbing out on your thighs and whatnot, enticing you or whatnot. So they're grown, they're adult men. That's what makes a good man. What do you all think makes a good man?
I would agree. Like, I mean, for those of us who like what they like, what makes a good partner is like you said, like if I'm telling you something and you take note of what I'm saying and like you show changes or like active listening, really, like you did you hear what I'm saying? Like you heard what I'm saying, but did you hear what I'm saying? Like did you understand what I'm saying? And like understanding, really, like having a good understanding, like, yeah, I don't been through a lot of people to get to you, so like I'm sorry if I'm coming off like this, but just working with that person because I'm working with you, trying to understand you, so just work with me and try to understand me. I feel like that's what makes a good partner, when you both can work together, because it's like y'all really are a team, like y'all coming together to like go through life together type stuff. So like if the person that you're with is a good listener and they're understanding, I feel like that's good qualities in the person. That's something that you gotta look for.
Yep.
I also think somebody that knows themselves. Like I don't expect anybody to fully know themselves because nobody really does, until you go through different situations. But somebody that knows themselves enough to be able to express it and like, express their feelings. And like Didi said, or like Lucy said, active listening. But that goes both ways. Everything should go both ways. In a relationship or partnership or whatever it is. Because if you expect everything from him, you're expecting them to be a good man, you're expecting them to clean the house, you're expecting them to bring home groceries, do whatever it is you expecting them to do, you got to be able to reciprocate that as well. So I think it really goes both ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I agree.
Being able to compromise, make things happen, problem solve when there's a problem. Don't run away from the problems. I think it's just like a team, just working together to understand each other. I think communication with any relationship, whether it's a friendship, anything, like communicating, meeting in the middle, understanding that other person, and understanding that sometimes your views may not be the same. Everything, just because you think different, it shouldn't have to be an argument. Just find a way to make it work and meet in the middle.
Yeah, talk to them, not at them.
And this, I want to hear from you as well, because you did mention before, that in previous relationships things happen, but not your current relationship. So, do you agree, with what the ladies are saying? You have anything you want to add to that? Does your current relationship, is he understanding? Okay, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, my current relationship is I think it's going really great. And the reason why is because it took us a minute because we're on like year 3. So before we got to where we are now, I'm gonna be honest, it was rough because he had his own perception of women. I had my own perception of men, and we were trying to be together, and it just was not clicking at all. Like it just wasn't. So like he's very strong-minded. I'm very strong-minded. Once we have something in our heads, like that's it. But it took us a while to get to a point to where like we think almost simultaneously, like we're all like we have the same thoughts, like we work together. Like it took a lot. Like it's not easy. Like I will say, like it hasn't been, because there are times where he still has to tell me to do things and I still have to tell him to do things, but like we do it in a way that's not like bashing one another, you know, or like saying, damn, he's stupid, or like, damn, she's stupid, but like, you know. But it took, like I said, it took a lot to get here. So
do y'all believe in agreeing to disagree?
Yes. And that's something I have a problem with. Like, because me, like you said, you raised us to be very outspoken. If it's something I want to say, like I'm going to say it. And in my current relationship, like I had to learn to like, okay, babe, okay. Like, I'm not saying I like to argue, but shut up. I'm not saying I like to argue because I can. But I mean, it's
I think learning how to like express yourself, because I'm a type of person that's gonna express myself without it having to be an argument. Like, but I'm gonna say how I feel, because I feel like it would be unfair for me to not express my feelings and then lash out when it becomes too much. So like, and it has to come from both parties. Like expressing yourself. Men need to learn how to be vulnerable to a woman, especially a person that they call being in a relationship with. I think it's only fair to be able to express yourself. Don't shut down when it get hard. Just find another way of communicating. I don't care if you have to write a letter, just versus saying it verbally. But I'm a type of person, if I really feel like a certain type of way, I'm just gonna let it out. But in a respectful way, because I'm not gonna talk to you any type of way, because I don't want you to talk to me any type of way. So knowing how to express yourself, and don't just blow up without knowing you haven't expressed yourself to that person, because a lot of women do that. Like you said, like they expect men to read their mind when they are men, or unless they were raised by a good woman, they one track minded, and it just what you tell them is what it is. So sometimes you have to be okay with breaking it down in detail when it comes to communicating to them.
Yeah, I had that problem really big. Like, I needed my current one to know what I'm thinking 24/7, but I had to realize that it wasn't like that, because that's just what I always thought. Like in every other relationship, like, damn, can he see that I'm mad? Like, why he can't see that what I'm mad about? Like, that's the kind of mindset that I had. So, like, it took a lot for me to be like, damn, maybe if I just explain to him why I'm mad, you know, maybe things will be a lot different. And that's how it is now. But like, bottom line is, like, if they wanted to, they would. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, if a man want to act right, he gonna act right for you. If he ain't acting right, that means he don't want you. Like, so same with like any relationship with whoever you're with.
And Miss Sonia's right. I mean, it is an ongoing thing, you know, working on communication. I mean, like it's like being a mother. You know, like I always tell new moms, whatever decision you make regarding that child is the right decision. You know, there's no manual, you know, to know how to do different things. So, you know, it is an ongoing learning experience. And, you know, even, you know, and I'm still learning too. So, you know, because sometimes he can be so sweet, and I ask him, I'm like, why did you keep calling me? You know, like you kind of broke me down. You tapped into my soft side, but you know, everybody don't know nothing about my soft side. So, you know, I guess it's all right. I'm gonna let him make it. But I'm gonna ask y'all this one quick question. We have one more question, but I'm gonna ask you this one quick question. But it's just a yes or no question. You don't have to go in detail. I just want to hear what all you're gonna say. Do you think all good men are in church?
No. Them be the biggest saints. I mean sinners.
I was about to say what?
I did not mean to say saints. No, you can find a good man at your local Kroger. It ain't got to be church.
I know people who've been going to church for the longest, and they don't live in godly ways. People, period.
Some of the preachers don't be living in a godly way.
Hello.
But you know, that's okay, because one thing I had to learn about church is that don't focus on the people that's in there. Just focus on the word, because everybody there for a reason. Ain't nobody in there perfect. So that's what I say. No. That's all I answer.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have about the devil is at church. That's true, Miss Sonia. We have about maybe 8 minutes left. So let's talk about this really quickly. Is marriage an outdated concept in your generation? And why? Like, would you rather just is that something that you would like to do? Or I mean, would you just be okay just just living together? I mean, is marriage the ultimate goal for you all?
Marriage is the goal for me. I'm sorry. Like, I want to get married. The person I'm with now knows it. And like, he really didn't have the same thought as me, but now he does. And it's you can't pressure people into like, because because that's what you want doesn't mean that's what they want. Like, I can definitely take it from my relationship. It is not what my partner wanted at first, but like, if you realize this is a person that you want to be with and you want to do that, and that's something that they've always wanted. Like, I told him from the beginning, like, I'm not trying to pressure you into anything, but like, I know what I want and here's what I want. And then they're either going to get with it or, just let you know, like, this ain't it, so, but I want to get married. So
me too, same here. But like, when it comes to marriage, I think we, like, generation wise, we lost what marriage actually means. So when you discuss with your partner what marriage looks like to you, then yes, that should be the end goal. As long as y'all are in agreement of what marriage looks like. Don't just get married because, oh, I got a ring, I get to keep them, and it's because then that just means marriage is paperwork when it should be something spiritual as one. So yeah, I mean, I just think you should have that conversation about marriage and what you see what's a marriage to you.
So it's so hard in the military to like even take marriage seriously. Now, don't get me wrong, marriage is my end goal. Like, I can't be with somebody that doesn't want to get married. That's just me though.
Right.
But being in the military, it's almost like a joke, honestly. And it's with this generation. Like, it's not even with the older people that are in. It's these younger ones that they meet somebody, and they're in that what is it called?
Honeymoon phase.
Yeah, but what's the other little word they use for it? But sure, we'll go with that. They in that little honeymoon phase, right? And everything is all freaking hearts and rainbows, uniforms, rainbows flying everywhere. Oh my gosh, we're running through a field, and they get married right on the spot without discussing, like, what is your ultimate goal in life? Like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do with your life? What type of career do you want to do? Your financial status, your beliefs, your morals, like, none of that is discussed. And like Keysha said, like, all of that has to be laid out on the table, and y'all have to discuss that type of thing and to see if that's who you really need to marry. Because just because they look all pretty, doesn't mean that it's exactly what you want. And then once y'all are contracted by that legal paper, for some reason you start to see all the different sides that you never saw. If you never got the chance to get to know them.
Yep.
So I think it's very much taken as a joke these days. But for me myself, that is definitely the ultimate goal for me.
Yeah. I believe before marriage too, like, a good thing to do is like go to couples counseling, whether you're in a good place or a bad place, because the counselor, if you go to the right counselor, they can bring up different situations of what they saw in failed marriages, successful marriages, and you can kind of have that open discussion with your partner. And you might find out things that, like Jordan said, you never knew just based off of that particular marriage counseling that you had. I know a lot of people don't believe in counseling, but it's good counseling. Everybody should just go into that mindset of knowing, like, this is to better myself or better my relationship or go into a marriage and things like that. So yeah,
I would say that marriage is the goal for me. And I don't know, like, I agree. I feel like you do have to talk that over with the person that you with to make sure you on the same page, because you don't want to be with somebody for like 5 years and you, like you said, a man can't read your mind or nobody can read your mind at that. So you don't want to be with somebody for like 5 years and be like, okay, like, when is this gonna happen? But y'all never discussed it. So I feel like people do take it as a joke. I think it's just, I think a lot of people just do it just for like status. These days, and like Jordan was saying, like I hear some of her stories about people getting married for like spousal pay and stuff like that. I just feel like it's just like a joke to some people. Like Kasha said, people don't understand like the whole meaning behind it. People don't take it serious, and anybody that I get with, like I tell them, like, if that's not what you're trying to do, then don't even try it. Like, don't even try to waste my time. I'm not gonna waste my time with you, because if I see that in you, then we're gonna try to go down that road. We're gonna build the foundation to get there. But yeah, a lot of people just don't take it serious. It's really nothing to people. Like, I don't believe in divorce coming from like a divorce like upbringing. Like, I don't believe in it. So if we gonna get married, we gonna be in love. It ain't no breaking up. I don't care if I gotta call your mama to get you in line. You can call my mama to get me in line. But I'm not gonna do that to myself or my family. Like, you just gotta make sure you're on the same page with people. Really, at the end of the day, because people will waste your time and won't think twice about it.
And Deshaun brings up a very good question. What's a good reason, in your opinion, to get a divorce? I mean, you don't believe in divorce, but what would be a good reason in your mind, and your
If
thought?
somebody
Like,
bringing you down, like if that person just become dead weight, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you see that you're running this race, and the person that's supposed to cross the finish line with you, they just not giving it they all no more. Like, they just pulling you down. Like, you can't get out of your financial situations. You can't get out of your mental, like your bad mental state and stuff like that. I feel like in order to better yourself, you're gonna have to cut that tie with that person. But that also comes with the dating and like getting to know somebody, and like asking them probing questions, and not just asking like what you doing all day. Like, that's where all of that come from. Like, you see how a person is, you get to know a person before you get married to them. Like, I feel like it's really important to like date somebody for a good while before you just jump into a marriage just because things is all good. Like, things are good for 2 months, so you're gonna get married in the third month. Nah, you gotta be with somebody for a while. See how they are when times get tough. See how they are when they get money. See how they are when they have. See how they are when they get money. See how they are when they don't have money. See how they are like with changes and like how they adapt to stuff. And if you see that person ain't right, then that's when you gotta cut that off.
Yep.
I
agree.
I agree 100%. Because like with like, and that's another thing, like with the older generation, like it's so much as like, because even my parents are like that. Like, why, like, don't live with a man before you get married. I feel like you need to do all of that. I feel like you need to live with them. You need to be with them for a while. You need to do all of that, because you cannot live with somebody and then you end up getting married, and then y'all get together and you're like, what did I get myself into? So I am not the traditional type at all. Like, I want to experience everything before we tie the knot. So that's just me. My parents are not like that,
If you
but
don't like the way that they fold their clothes, honey, that's a deal breaker. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't clean. Yeah.
You're not kidding. You are not kidding.
I definitely think you should live with a person, before, especially this day and age now. Way back generation, like grandparent type generation, when they was all raised the same, with the same morals, same church house, all of that. Then okay, yeah, don't get married before living with them. But now, so many people are outspoken, and yeah, I definitely live with them before then. Go around their family. Go see if they have. Because if they don't have no friends, no family, nobody close, then why? Like, I feel at a certain age, like if you don't have no friends, no family that you close to, it gotta be a reason why. So like, I feel like you should go around their parents, because that's who raised them, whoever raised them. Go around whoever they hang with. If you can't hang around the people that they hang with, then that's a red flag. I think a lot of people ignore a lot of the red flags in the beginning because they want marriage or a relationship or a family so bad that they lose sight of what their worth is.
That's true.
That's another thing that Miss Sonia just said. I had to let it go because he had too much other stuff going on. I couldn't expose my children or myself to it anymore.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to kids, like obviously if you not with that child's father or the other child's parent anymore, if I can't trust you around my kids, or if my kid is showing flags like that, she not messing with you, honey, you gotta go. Because obviously you sending her the wrong message. And you know, kids, they can, I believe, that they can sense some things that we can't. Or at least we don't
They
see it
always
just
can.
yet. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
the moment that I see that my child is like shoving you away, like you gotta go. So it wouldn't even be no talking phase, no dating, no none of that. Mm-mm.
I have a question about this comment. Men are investments. Always manage your portfolios. Investment,
I don't
like
like that.
I don't like that. I only invest in stocks because it's guaranteed to come back.
I kind of get
Like
what he's saying. I
I
mean,
don't.
maybe the way he said it because we reading it, but I feel like you should invest into a marriage. You should invest in each other though, not just men alone. Like there
Oh,
is.
see, I took that comment the wrong way then, because I feel like he was saying that like have your man lined up.
He better have himself lined up before he stepped.
That's
Like
what.
yeah.
He get to
Is that
step
just
it.
me? It's just me.
He or she,
It might be just
whoever.
me.
I mean, it like you said, it could just be like how we read it because I'm not good with text and stuff.
I
Like
don't know.
I read
I'm trying to
something with
give
a
him the
whole
benefit of the
attitude.
doubt.
You know
You
what?
said what?
You get that
I'm giving him the
honesty
benefit of the
because
doubt.
I'm like, I want to
Men.
hear how you said it, so I can know how I can how I'm supposed to act. You know what I
Respond.
mean? Like I need to act accordingly. Right. I need to act accordingly. You
Yeah,
know, so I understand
yeah.
what you're saying. So
Men must be worth
men must
it.
be worth it. What do you
They're
mean by
Men
that,
and
Sinead?
women. Yeah, everybody got to be worth it. Like
and then pop it.
it can't just be all on one person. But let's see what Mr. Williams talking about. I
We
refuse to
might
call
have,
him
we
SB.
need to bring him in one of these days
Children
because
see what we
Can.
can. Yes,
And
they
that is
can.
that is true,
Yeah,
Miss
they
Sonia.
that's
can.
because
Children
a lot
can
of
see
people
what we can.
underestimate children, so they do a lot more around them,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that they not gonna pick up on those signals. Like no,
Mm-hmm.
they gonna go back and tell their mama or
The
whoever
best
raised
reason to
them.
get married,
Girl,
money.
that money. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah,
I'm just playing. I'm
hello.
just playing. I'm just playing.
I'm just
Just
kidding.
playing.
No, you
I'm
I
just
wouldn't
no
get
playing.
I wouldn't get married for money.
nah, because they do need to be able to bring something and help out. You know, what I
Yeah,
mean, you do have to meet somewhere in the middle.
that's one of the
So
qualities.
But that's not the best
yeah,
reason though. But
so
No,
that's one.
I
they
mean, the
do
best
need to have
reason to get
something instead
married,
of coming and
if
depending
you could see,
on you and you depend solely on him.
if you could see yourself, like
Didi,
if it come
I'm
down
sorry.
to it, huh?
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry. You were saying?
I feel like that's all on you. Like I can say what's a good reason for me to get married, but it's whatever is in your heart. Like if you feel like, oh, he split his sandwich with me because he knew I was hungry, I'ma marry him. Then that's you. But like everybody has different reasons on what they feel like is a good reason to get married. Whether it's love, whether it's money. I mean, insurance policies. He probably got a pool in the backyard. Like everybody has. I'm not trying to be funny, but everybody has different reasons. Like some people may not have had something that the other person has and they feel like, oh, that's a reason for me to get married. So like everybody got different reasons. It all depends on what you think and it's all based off your personal experiences. Honestly, that's what I think.
and don't have to sandwich with me. Bring me my own. You know what I mean? I'm not no little woman. I'm not eating have no sandwich. Bring my own food. You know, it's just something that just don't sit right with my soul. And if he asks me, what do I like? Do I want something to eat? And I say no, and he don't bring me nothing back. You know what I'm saying? Like, really? I thought you knew me better than that. So that means I'm fixing to eat your
that's
food.
playing mind games. So see, some men you can't play them mind games with.
Because they really gonna take you literal.
They not gonna bring you nothing. You really can't get mad.
Like the one I'm with right now, let me say I'm not hungry. I probably won't get nothing. Well, there's noodles in there. You said you weren't hungry.
Exactly.
And
No
then
damn
also
noodles.
for like the best reasons to get married, you know, again from like a mother standpoint, I'm very in tune with my daughter. So like let's say, you know, I start talking to somebody or whatever, you know, I'm dating somebody with other kids. Kid, because I don't know about
Yeah.
multiple. So if they have a kid of their own and you know they don't treat my child any different from the way that they treat theirs, I think that that's a good reason for me. Now I'm not saying like that's like if you treat my child right, like we gonna get married. No, I'm not saying that because like anybody can be friendly and stuff. But like that's one of the biggest reasons. Like you're not finna treat my child like a stepchild. Don't do that. Because I wouldn't do that to yours. So
And don't be too
treating
friendly with
children
my
equally,
child.
and then you know, like I think Lucy was trying to get at, you know, if you can see yourself in the long run with this person, like if you can literally picture your future with that person, go for it. But you know, of course, this is after y'all have sat down and y'all have talked about, you know, what I've already listed earlier: financial state, beliefs, morals, um, decisions on, you know, whether y'all want more kids or, you know, where y'all want to live. Like that's all that all goes into play.
So, do y'all think that you should have sex with this person before marriage?
Absolutely.
Oh yes.
You got to see how they perform because that's a big. I can't be with you if you can't satisfy.
You got to test drive the car before you drive it off the lot.
Yes,
Hello,
ma'am.
say that again. You gotta,
Yes, ma'am.
you gotta put that thing down, flip it,
I
and
ain't gonna
reverse
just
it.
drive
Because
no
why if I
car,
pull off the
buy no
lot, if I
car.
pull off the lot and then it break down, we gonna have an issue.
Right, right,
No.
right. No, it ain't no warranty.
So-
You can't give it back.
But unless the man is willing to learn, because some women don't tell these men that they really bad in bed, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day.
No,
But
it is.
yeah, that's a big topic.
You gotta live with a person, and you gotta get in bed with them. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say no. Wait, no. You
And
have
also
to.
what Keysha said about being around they family and stuff, you will learn a lot by being around other people, like they upbringing. You will see their like how their behavior and like why they act a certain way. Like you will find all of that out by being around family. So and friends. So I agree with that.
Don't wreck the car.
That said, don't wreck the car.
Don't wreck the car.
Well, you know what? He shouldn't be so easily wreckable.
Man.
I'm just saying. What? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Take your little blanket then.
Sugar daddy, you easily wreckable, baby. I hope not.
What
I need him to join the call because
His
comments throw me off.
Actually, Mr. Williams was on a previous call that Brian was doing with the men, and so the plan is to bring all of you all back in 2 weeks with the men. So it'd be like a Brady Bunch type thing. So it'd be the four of y'all, you know, and me, of course, and then the four gentlemen that were on 2 weeks ago, and Brian. So I'm sorry, Mr. I said it wrong. Mr. Williams is just a listener. He wasn't on the previous call. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. But yeah, so but then you know, maybe one of the gentlemen probably, you know, will feel that way. And then, you know, at that point, then y'all can have that conversation with them. But we're going to prepare to go ahead and get ready to give our final thoughts and shut this thing down. I have really enjoyed every last one of you. Do you all have anything you'd like to close with or end with?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for having me.
This was a
Thanks
good
for having me. Continue to know your worth, to know yourself.
Yes, continue to be yourself.
Yes.
Continue to grow yourself as well.
Yeah, know yourself, seek self-improvement. You know, Hoorah Marine Corps.
Yep. But yes, thank you for having us. I feel like this is a good group.
Not for real.
Keysha, Nuss, I'm sorry. Do you have anything you'd like to add? I have really enjoyed listening to you. I've never heard you talk this much. I'm so glad that you opened up. But yes, ma'am.
Thank you for having me today. I really enjoyed the topics of conversation.
And see, Mr. Williams said, thanks for the knowledge, ladies. See?
I will
You're
like to add,
welcome.
I feel left out.
Oh.
Don't feel left
Oh,
out,
we're
Dashlin. You was
sorry.
putting a lot of questions in the chat.
Mm-hmm. You
Yeah,
threw us some
you
curveballs.
gave us a lot. So thank you. Questions that I hadn't even thought about. So,
Yeah.
all right, ladies, if you guys are all finished and you don't have anything else to add, let me again say thank you again for agreeing to do this with me. Thank you for jumping right in. Thank you for being on time. I love every last one of y'all. I believe you know that. Everybody's special to me. All 4 of you are like my daughters. Well, 2 of you are, but all of y'all like my daughters. And y'all can always come over here and get, some cookies or something to eat. I'm always here for you. And I appreciate you. So thank you, Raider Kev. He said it was an interesting show. He's a very faithful listener as well. So thank you so much for that. All right. But I will say this, that cough sound awfully COVID-y. So is everybody okay?
Get away from me.
She said mama get off the phone.
Right.
Nah, for real.
That's what she's saying. So we're gonna go ahead and let you go so she can have your undivided attention. But thank you so much. Y'all have a great bye, baby.
Bye.
So bye, everybody. Y'all be good.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Feeling myself, but I stay in my lane. I know you thinking you nice, but you sounding the same. He need to switch up his flow, but I know that he ain't. Shit, maybe he want to and probably can't. He talk a lot, but ain't saying a word. He's 16, sounding like he be lacing his herb. Reggie Rock told me time to just focus and spit. Quit worrying about the niggas abandoning shit. I dropped broken and they told me quit biting your tongue. The way you writing sounded like you forgot where you from. Say you from the hood, but you sound like a minister now. Yeah, I could take it there, but shit, I just like how this sound. I should address some of this drama, but letting it go. Shit, I can't keep playing with you niggas, I'm getting too old. The last words Bone told me I never forget. Quit playing with this music and do it to death. Shit, I came back.